Today is Wednesday, and I wanted to take just a little bit of time to do a vlog. I have been consumed with last minute things, trying to get everything settled for me to leave next week. Um, Today has been wild because I had reached out to my Airbnb. I've been staying in an Airbnb but long term, like for the past year. And I had reached out to the owner or whatever, and I was like, hey, I have an emergency. I need to leave. Um, and Airbnb told me that I was paid through December 9th. On November 29th, which is today, so yesterday or Monday, I get a notification and they're like, hey, we're going to charge you for the next month, but I'm not going to be here for the next month, right? So I reach out to Airbnb and I'm like, hey, this is the situation. I've been talking to several people, pull up the records. And I've talked to the Airbnb host, and I'm leaving on December 9th. So I need to know when I need to so that schedule to cancel so I don't get charged twice, because I don't want to get charged to pay the month and then turn around and have to pay an additional month for the cancellation fee. So they not really answering me. Ain't nobody answering me. The host telling me wait to the 9th, but Airbnb trying to charge me on the 29th. So I wound up canceling because I was like, what y'all not about to do is put me in a situation that I wind up having to pay for 2 months in the middle of all of this other stuff that I'm dealing with. So the host contacts me this morning and she's like, hey, I saw you cancel the reservation. So now it's the liability for you to be in there because you canceled the reservation. And I was like, well, Airbnb told me something different. Like, they told me I was paid till December 9th. And she's like, yeah, but the reservation isn't active anymore. And what if somebody books? And I was like, well, you can control that on your end of whether somebody books or not. Like, I've been here for the past year. I have been treating this place better than even I treat my own place. She sold the place while I was here. So like on days where people would come, I would make sure that it was staged and it had plants and it smelled good and like all of this. Right? I've treated your place like my own. So she's like, well, if something happens, if something happens. And I'm thinking to myself, what, ma'am? What you think about to happen, ma'am? Like, what do you think is about to happen that hasn't happened in all this time, that this, I'm actually leaving on the 7th, that these next 8 days is going to cause some type of situation? So I just kept saying, like, I'm hoping that you're understanding what I'm saying, that I'm getting mixed messages from you and Airbnb. She is not the one who is charging my credit card. Airbnb is. So in that case, I went with what they said, not with what you said. Now, you could take that up with them and all of that. Nonetheless, I'm going to be here until December 9th, actually the 7th. So I'm trying not to be difficult, but in the same token, it's like I realize, and I understand where she's coming from. I understand liability, all that kind of stuff. I get all of that. But also, I know that as an Airbnb owner, they have very much control over when they rent the apartment, like all of that. So she's just doing the most. So I'm still here, and we'll see what happens today. I'm not prepared to leave today, and even I tried to rebook it just for the days that I'm going to be here, and the calendar is closed. So what are you even talking about that somebody could book today? No, they can't, because the calendar is closed to the end of February. Like, what is, ma'am? What you talking about? What you talking about? And I was supposed to leave here on February 9th. So the fact that it's closed until the end of February. So anyway, so that happened. But nonetheless, there's been a lot of logistical things, right? So I have secured my ticket, like all of that's good. Y'all already know that. What I am trying to do right now is get rid of things that I cannot take with me. So I was planning on being here for a while, so I had a projector that I used to watch TV. I have a Google Nest Wi-Fi router that I use to enhance the Wi-Fi, which it never worked. So now I'm trying to sell those things. Sold a projector today in like 10 minutes. So praise the Lord. Okay, I done sent it off. They done got it. Okay, cool. Smooth $100. Appreciate you. So now I have to sell this Wi-Fi router. And where am I selling it is probably what you're wondering. So we have I believe I talked about this before. We have a WhatsApp group here of black women that are here in Colombia. This group primarily operates in Medellin. So most of the people that are in the group are here in Medellin. So I went into that group and I was like, hey, need help. Medical emergency, gotta leave, need to sell these things. So one of the ladies that was in the group was like, yeah, let me get that projector. So I was able to do that. Also, while I was in there, you may or may not know that the Renaissance movie comes out on Friday, and I was already trying to figure out where I was gonna go, which theater, what that was gonna look like, what I'm gonna wear, right? Like all of those things. And I had not done that, but it was on my list to secure my ticket today. Well, in that same group, I'm never in the group because the notifications are so overwhelming, so I try to keep them off most times. But somebody had just posted, the same lady that brought the projector actually had just posted, and she was like, hey, there are 2 spots left for the Renaissance parties. So on Saturday they're having a party with they're having dinner, a party, a fashion show, like all of this before the movie, and then they're gonna hang out after the movie. I'm going home, but it'll be nice. It looks like it's gonna be about 20 people, so it'll be cool to get there and meet a couple folks. I really stay out of those circles because I've just had some bad experiences with people. So I stay out of those circles, but I actually felt like this might be a fun thing to do. And again, I want to see the movie. So at the end of the day, I'm going to see the movie like I wanted to, right? So I feel like it's a win-win type situation. So I'm gonna do that on Saturday, and then I made my nail appointment with my nail girl for Friday, so she's gonna do me good one more time, and we'll see what these nails look like, because they will be on my fingers for a while, probably until I get not probably until I get to Mexico and have some type of discretionary funds to be able to do something with my nails. I do have a place that I would go to get nails there, but I had never like encouraged them to do designs and shit. But I may do that. The power just surged. So it's all kind of stuff like coming on and off and stuff. But anyway, I do have a place there in Mexico City where I get my nails done. So it should be pretty okay for me to maintain my nails. And then I just told her for my toes to just do regular polish because I don't want no problems. And also flip-flops is not really a thing in Mexico City or even here in Colombia. Like your toes are usually just covered. So like my toes right now, I just have a basic color on it, but it's gel. So I'm gonna just have her replace that with regular. So I was able to do that, and that's cool, right? Then I had gone on Bumble. Every so often I'd be like, let me go on Bumble and see what's going on. And I matched with this dude that's from Chicago. So he lives in Providence, and he's from Chicago. And when we matched, I was like, hey, how you doing today? And he was like, I'm sad because I was supposed to be flying to Medellin today. And I'm like, what happened? So he was like, man, I got nervous. I didn't know. So I canceled the trip. I'm like, shut up. Like, you need to come. So I talked him into rebooking his trip because I was like, listen, Medellin is a vibe. I asked him what he was coming for in the first place. He was like, I was looking for somewhere that basically he said he's on a self-love journey. He was like, I'm looking for a place where I could be on a self-love journey and just have some time to rest and heal. And I was like, my nigga. Medellin is it, right? So he'll be here on Friday, and he said he gets in at 9 in the morning. So I'll probably try to hook up with him and maybe do lunch before my nail appointment. My nail appointment is at 2 on Friday. So, I'm gonna do that, and then we can go to dinner or whatever. He said he wants to go to dinner. He wants to see some museums. He wants to go to nature preserve. He was like, "Listen, if you free, I'm gonna pay you for your time. Like if you," and I was like, my guy, if I'm free, I'm in it. The other thing is he works at education. So I was like, "What are you doing?" He's a director of student success. He said over 6 districts. So I'm excited to talk to him about that. I was telling him I was school climate and culture specialist, school improvement specialist. So he was like, "Oh my God, these schools need you." And I was like, "Can you send them?" Let me look over here in the camera. "Can you send them my way, please? Because your girl's contracts is null and void." Okay. So I'm excited for that. Other thing, I talked to my best friend yesterday after not having talked to her in a while. Both of us been going through some real shit, and I just felt like she probably didn't know all what has been going on with me because I know her, and she would have been like, "Ma'am, what is happening?" So yesterday we talked for maybe about an hour and a half, and I was just kind of updating her and telling her what was going on and just how stressed I am with finances and all of that. And when I tell you she ministered to my spirit, which is so cool to have friends that are in tune with God and are able to deliver a word, because I was really like, "Girl, this is a lot." Also, my TV decided it wanted to come on, so hold on, I'm gonna be right back. All right, I'm back. So, what was I talking about? So I had talked to my best friend, and she really was just like, "Kimberly, we got this." She is a content creator, has been. It's how I met her. Let me tell y'all how I met my best friend. So, and this is a story that I haven't necessarily really told, but I'm gonna give like the Clip Notes version. Um, so where do I even start with this, y'all? Okay, so January of 2019, I met this guy, and y'all have actually probably heard me mention him before. His name is Lewis, and we decided that we were going to get married. And in that deciding that we were going to get married, at the time he lived in Boston, so I decided that I was going to sell my house and I was going to leave Tampa. So at the time I was a student success coach in Hillsborough County in Tampa, Florida, in the school district. And I told my school, they had met him and everything, and I was like, "Yeah, next year, that's the last year. Like, I'm out this mother." Like, I had been trying to get out of Tampa for a long, long time. So I was like, "I'm out of here. Getting married, out of here," right? So around August of 2019, Lewis and I decided not to get married for a situation that is very similar to what I'm experiencing right now. But we remained friends and remained close. And I very much value him. We love each other. That's my nigga. So, in June, July of 2019, I had sold my house, so I moved into an apartment, a loft in Tampa that was right across the street from my school. And again, I was preparing to leave to go to Boston. So I was like, let me cut down on costs overall. So selling my house and responsibility and commuting, because I could literally walk to work. It was literally 5 minutes door to door. So I did that. In August, we decided not to get married. But I had taken some time off because we were supposed to get married in September of 2019. So I had already taken the time off for us to get married and to go on a honeymoon or whatever. So I kept my time off. And we spent some time together. So before I had taken that time off, the school year had started in August, and the school year had felt different because I had been at that school as a mentor for 4 years, and then I was on the staff. This was going on my third year, third or fourth year that I was there on the staff. So it was very interesting that all of the progress that we had made at the school, that nobody was listening to me anymore. Like, I would make suggestions and we were getting like a new group of kids. Like, it was a lot that was going on and nobody was really listening to me anymore. So I was like, this is strange. Like, wow, all of a sudden my words ain't mean shit, right? So when I took the time off in September, I was already thinking to myself, maybe it's time for me to just leave now. But always the question is, what you gonna do? So while I was off, somebody that I used to go to church with reaches out to me, and she actually, I know her through my ex, and she reaches out and she was like, "Hey, Kimberly, I work for this organization called Phelan Leadership Academies, and we need you." She was like, "We have a position for a math and science specialist. We have these 4 schools in Hillsborough County that are in danger of closing if they don't make progress." So the external operator, Phelan Leadership Academies, had come in to try to turn everything around, and we need you. We need your expertise. We what you doing? Because we need you, right? So I was like, girl, I just started the school year. Like, I'm good. I'm not going to do that. You know, I have my girls. I have my mentoring program in my school. I was very instrumental in the culture. And, like, I was like, I told them I was going to give them one more year. But at the same time, they weren't listening to me, right? So I'm taking my time off in September or whatever. I come back. I had lunch duty one day. I'm standing in the cafeteria and I was like, I can't do this no more. I can't do that. This is chaos. And y'all got me fucked up. If y'all think I'm about to be sitting up here stressing over shit that I already told y'all that we needed to be planning for in the first place, and y'all was ignoring me, done. So I called her up and I was like, hey, what's up with the job? Is it still available? So she was like, yes, let me get you on the fast track, all of that, right? So my last day at Hillsborough County Public Schools was November 9th of 2019. So I take a week off, and then I start with Phelan that next Monday. So that was the 9th. Then we would have had 10th, 11th, 12th. So the 19th. Okay. So I start with Phelan that Monday. Now this is the Monday, the week before Thanksgiving week. Right. So they get me onboarded. It's not really like intensive work because, again, everybody about to go on break, like all of that. But I'm doing the rounds. I'm doing the orientation. I'm doing the conference calls, getting shit set up, all of that. So in the meantime, I told y'all this is how I met my best friend. So in the meantime, my best friend reaches out to me. And her name is Bianca, just for the sake of saying that. So Bianca reaches out. And Bianca had actually reached out to me a couple years prior. Now, this part y'all might know about, but if you don't, go Google it. So, in April, or March or April of 2017, I met a school board member named Tamara Schamberger in Hillsborough County. Tamara Schamberger had just been elected. She is a young black woman, seems to be very much on her shit. So I was excited to meet her. I met her at this event called the Turnaround Breakfast. So again, my position was as a student success coach. And I worked with the caseload of at-risk students that were at the school. Everybody was at risk, but I had a caseload of 100 children. And from my caseload, I would choose, along with some other teachers, a student that was the turnaround student of the year. So turnaround student basically means the child came in, it was a rough year, and then they were able to get their shit together, and now they're on the right track, right? So we had turnaround for middle school and high school. So our turnaround student was almost always an eighth grader, and we read something about them, and then they come up, they accept their award, they thank who they want to thank. It's a big deal. So at the turnaround breakfast, I meet Tamara Schamberger and I say to her, ma'am, we need your help. We remember I had been at this school for 4 years prior to that mentoring, right? Then I joined the faculty under an administration and it was hot as chaotic bullshit. But I knew that because I was already working there. But it was so chaotic that I was like, I will go work at Starbucks. Like, I will not. It was so crazy. Kids was peeing in the halls. There was feces in the hall. There was like fires. It was crazy. It was lean on me, East Side High, okay? But I had always worked at schools like that. So I went there willingly. I went knowing that the school was a mess, but the administration wasn't getting no better. I was at the point of being like, I'm done. I had talked to a principal friend of mine, and she was like, y'all about to get a new principal. So just hang tight. Like, he about to be gone. So I was like, bet. He ultimately wound up actually getting demoted to an AP. So if that's any indication of how not good he was. So very kind and very, I think, kind-hearted, but just didn't have the systemic understanding of how to turn the school around. So we get a new principal and I go to this turnaround breakfast. So I say to the school board member, who is our school board member, I was like, hey, we need your help. We just got a new principal. Like, we need you to come and help us. And she was like, absolutely. I will be there beyond a shadow of a doubt. Absolutely. So that was April of, was that 2016? I feel like this is a 2016-2017 school year. So the 2017-2018 school year starts. That's when it was. The 17-18 school year starts. And now it is, I'm going to say like March, April of 2018. Yeah, I think. Hold on, because my last year there was going to be 1920. Yes. So this is now 17-18. All right, so now we're in March, April 2018. Now, I told y'all about this organization, Phelan Leadership Academies, that I finally had went to go work for, right? Well, Phelan was in the mix before that. So Phelan had, this is a full story time, y'all. Phelan was already like in the mix of acquiring these contracts. So an external operator in schools is, if a school continues to fail, is taken over by an entity to try to help it turn around. So Phelan Leadership Academies is one of those entities. They're called an external operator, where they come in and help to turn these schools around, right? So my school, Memorial, was on the list of schools that were in this turnaround status. So we were in a position where if we did not, we were a D at the time, so if we didn't get at least a C, Phelan was going to take over our school. So that came with a lot of uneasiness, because people were like, are we going to have to reapply for our jobs? Are we going to have the same administration? Remember, we had just got a new principal. Are we going to, like, what is going to happen? And it was a lot of, we don't know about it, right? So teachers were kind of like, I don't know if to stay or go, or like what I'm supposed to do. So there was an article that was written about it in the Tampa Bay Times. And in the article, the school board member, Tamara Schamberger, who was our school board member that I had talked to a full year before that and asked her to come because we needed her help. She had not come by this time, okay? So she's quoted in the article. The article was saying, like, teachers have all these questions, blah, blah, blah. And her quote that she proudly posted on her Facebook page was like, I'm not quoting her right now, loosely quoting. You can go look up the article to say exactly what happened. But her quote was very loosely, why are we worrying about the details when the children aren't getting what they need anyway? And I took offense to that. because we were doing stuff at my school at the time, and all of this is recorded. Like, we were taking kids' clothes home and washing them. We were like outfitting kids. By the time I left Memorial Middle School, we had established a laundry center for the kids to be able to wash their clothes, a food pantry to deal with food insecurity, a clothes closet to clothe our children and or their families. It was a lot of work that we were doing behind the scenes. In the position that I was in, I was also kind of like this PR person, because every place that I would go, I was talking about Memorial Middle School. What I had found in the community is that there was a lot of support at the elementary level, and there was a lot of support at the high school level. But where the hell y'all think these churn at in the middle? Middle school is so integral, because it is the time where children are making a decision about whether they're going to graduate or not. If a child leaves, we had 16-year-olds in 8th grade, and 16 is the year that you can drop out. So if a child has not successfully completed 8th grade by the time that they turn 16 years old, the likelihood of them finishing high school is basically they're not. So middle school is really, really important to help kids like get on the right trajectory, and also hormones all over the place. It's crazy. Like, kids in middle school, Nutsville. Okay? I love it though. So it was a lot. It was a lot that was going on at the school, and we were doing a lot for our children and for their families. So for her to make that quote and to also not come to help like she said that she would, I took offense to that. So she had posted it on her Facebook page, and then I commented, and I basically was like, it would have been really nice for you to come, like you said that you would. And I wish that people would talk to us instead of talking around us about the things that are happening, basically, at the school. What did I expect from that to happen? I thought one of three things might happen. That she would ignore me. I thought that she would send me to her office, or her secretary, call my secretary, email me, blah, blah, blah. Or I thought that she would actually take accountability and be like, you right, bet, I'll be there on Monday. None of those things happened. What happened is she called herself trying to check me on the internet. Okay? So mind you, I don't know what time I made the comment. I might have made the comment somewhere at like, let's say 6 o'clock. I got off my phone. I went and did whatever the hell I was doing. One of my friends at the time messages me, and she was like, girl, have you seen Tamara Schamberger's comment on back to what you said, right? So I was like, no. Now, of course, if you follow a page, somebody else follows the page that you're friends with, then you can see, like, it'll show up in your activities. So-and-so commented on XYZ. So that's what was happening. So it was other people that was witnessing this, too, that I didn't know about, but I learned about later. So she was like, girl, did you see her comment? Like, she's straight out here tripping. And I was like, nah, by this time it's like 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, okay? So I go back and I read it, and I was like, her response. So her response was basically like, first of all, I have 75 schools, so I don't know what you think I was supposed to do, blah, 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 blah. That was the tone of her response. So I was like, and I didn't even say some of this stuff, but like my friend at the time, she commented at one point, and she was like, it's the third quarter. It was actually the fourth quarter. She was like, it's the third quarter of the year. You done had over 100 days to get to this school, and you trying to sit up here and say you ain't had time to go to the school? Secondarily, this is the only middle school on your list of turnaround schools. It seems like you would have made it a priority to get to that school of all the schools. Now, she had visited some schools around us, a couple high schools, a couple elementary schools right up the street, right around the corner, but they never came to Memorial. So this back and forth kind of goes on the internet or whatever. So at one point, she's like, did you talk to the principal or the area superintendent? And I said, yes, I talked to my principal. And yes, I talked to the area superintendent. So I'm letting you know, but I'm not hiding. Okay? Because I said what I said, and you said what you said. And ma'am, you're elected. So you're supposed to be doing what the hell you said you were supposed to do. We put you in office, right? So let me calm down, because I'm getting real passionate. because this shit is crazy. So, and all of this goes into how I met my best friend. So, after I said my principal, blah blah blah, so then she goes in our email system and she looks me up. I'm the only Kimberlyn. Okay. Now at the time, my name on Facebook I think was Kimberlyn Thailand, or Thailand Kimberlyn. That's my middle name. But I'm the only Kimberlyn. You put Kimberlyn up in that baby, it's just me. Okay. So what happens is she then starts deleting all the smart ass shit that she said on this here internet. So my friend messages me and she was like, girl, she deleting shit. So we start screenshotting everything because you got me fucked up. I believes in receipts. Okay. So, um, so, so she started deleting shit. So we screenshotting everything, right? And then she sends an email with selected screenshots. Because remember, she deleted a whole lot of shit. So she sends the email with selected screenshots to my principal, the area superintendent, and the chief of schools at like 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, basically saying, who is this Kimberlyn? She's super disrespectful and y'all need to deal with her, basically. Again, I have the screenshots. I have 22 pages of screenshots, okay? So this is quite an avenue to go down. And this is how a lot of people got introduced to me, because I was like, y'all got, okay, so let me tell you the rest of the story. So she sends the email, right, on a Saturday night. I'm not concerned because I got these screenshots. She don't know I got the screenshots, but now, and you lying? And you a liar? Oh, girl. Oh, girl. So Sunday, I wake up and I get a call from the area superintendent. Now, what Tamara Schamberger also didn't know is the area superintendent and I went to the hairdresser together. I just recorded the other day about me going to the hairdresser with these people, right? So it was a group of very powerful women in the school district that went to the hairdresser. So I know her, right? So she called me, so she's like, Kimberly. I'm like, yes. She said, what's going on Facebook? And I was like, you're going to have to be a little bit more descriptive than that. So she's like, what's going on with Tamara Schamberger? I got this email and she's talking about da-da-da-da-da. So I said, well, that's not what happened. Do you want to know what happened? She said, what happened? So I read her the 22 pages of screenshots. And she said, oh, that bitch messy. She ain't say all that. I said, I know. So she said, the area superintendent and she said, what you gonna do? I said, she owes me an apology or else I'm going to the newspaper. So the area superintendent said, do what you need to do. All right. So I emailed my principal. I might have texted her. And I said, hey, you just got a email from Tamara Schamberger. If you are interested in knowing what actually happened, I can talk to you on Monday. So my principal was like, yeah, let's meet on Monday. All right. Now, this is what I found out later. My principal had already responded back to Tamara Schamberger and apologized profusely without even knowing the information. Now, this is why it's important for you to understand what the fuck happened before you stick your foot in your mouth. And she don't know that I know, and she might see this one day, but I know, girl, I know that you had went on and apologized to her, even though you didn't know, and that also lets me know how much confidence you had in me. It's all right, though. I ain't mad, but I did peep it. So, I get to work on Monday. I go talk to the principal. She got the rubric out in the professional standards section. Now, let me tell you a little something about my background. Okay. Before I came to this school, I keep saying that I mentored for 4 years, right? So I'm very well versed in the rubric. I know the rubric forwards, backwards, upways, sideways, down, under, around, and better than her as the principal at the time. So I already know what's up. I already know what you think is about to be up. But again, you didn't wait to get the full information before you want to sit up here and send out an apology, right? But cool. I peeped it. I ain't say nothing. So I sit down at the desk or whatever, and she's like, what happened? I pull out my binder, laminated pages, 22 pages of screenshots, time stamped, notes on the side, anecdotal notes, all of this. So now, after I read my 22 pages of screenshots, now she's sitting there like, oh, yeah. I wish I would have known at the time that she had sent an apology, because my demeanor would have been a whole lot, and that's why I didn't know, because I really would have been like, you got me fucked up. But anyway, so after I read her the 22 pages of screenshots, she said, well, she didn't tell us all that. Yeah, I know. Well, what you gonna do? She owes me a public apology, or I am going to the newspaper. So my principal said, well, my only request is that it doesn't become a distraction to what we're doing. Because keep in mind, we are trying to earn a seat right now, which is the whole issue of why this was an issue, school board member Tamara Schamberger, that if you would have come to try to help us and to see what was going on, then you would have known what we doing. But you didn't. You're just out here flapping your gums and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, right? So she said, please don't allow it to interfere. So I'm like, she owe me an apology. Okay, and if she don't give me a public apology, then I'm going to the newspaper. So my principal says, please don't allow it to become a distraction. No problem. I done said what I had to say. I don't have shit else to say. Oh, man. All right, so I'm back. My phone had overheated, so I had to let it cool down a little bit. So, long story short, with old girl, again, all of this is well documented. She did not apologize. Okay, she instead doubled down on her fuck shit. So the newspaper wrote an article, and then she cut a fool on the internet after that article. So they wrote another article, which was the op-ed. Meanwhile, I ain't said nothing else. I done went back to working. We done earned our C. So we ended the 17-18 year with a C, right? 18-19, I go through the school year. I meet Lewis. I tell them my last year being there is going to be 19-20. Somewhere in that time, somewhere around 17-18, my best friend Bianca reaches out to me because she was also a teacher and she had written an op-ed about her experience in the district. Well, in doing her research, she comes across the articles written about me. So she finds me and reaches out to me and she was like, hey, do you want to tell your story? And I was like, who are you? Who are you? No, mind your business. I'm just over here working, trying to do, no thank you, ma'am. Okay, no thank you. I don't know who y'all, but no. But I did friend her on Facebook. So I keep working through the 18-19 school year. We decided we're getting married. I sell my house summer of 2019. I move across the street from the school. We supposed to get married in September. We don't get married. I go away during that time. I come back and I'm like, I can't do this no more. Right? So Phelan Leadership Academies did not take over Memorial because we had earned our seat. But they did take over these 4 schools. So the lady reaches out from Phelan that I knew from the church that I went to with my ex, and she's like, we need you. So I start with Phelan on November 19th, the Monday before the week of Thanksgiving. I believe it was the 19th, 19, 20, 21, 22, 18, 19, somewhere around there. So I start with them. Everybody is like, oh my God, Kimberly, we are so happy to have you, girl. We are so grateful to have you. And I was working with the lady that had recruited me, then another lady that I knew, she was also a mentor. She was working there as well. It was another lady I knew from being a principal. So I knew these people, right? I'm excited to be here. So Bianca had reached out to me again during that time, maybe that time that I was off during that week, because I had officially left. So she was like, hey, Tamara Schamberger had done some other fucking stupid ass shit. So Bianca was like, listen, this is why I was trying to get you to talk about your story. So I was like, you know what, actually I can do that now because I'm no longer with the school. I'm no longer with the school district. So we scheduled an interview for, I want to say it was November 22nd. It was a Friday evening. So that day, during that day, I had a meeting at one of the offices at Hillsborough County. Like I had, met with people, let them know I was with Phelan, like all of that. I had a meeting with the people at Phelan that Friday, and then it was a virtual meeting. So on the meeting, they were like, "Oh my God, Kimberly, we're so happy to have you. Like, our team in Florida is complete. We're just so excited. Your reputation precedes you, like all of this and that, right?" So that ends, let's say, we're just before 3:30, 4 o'clock. So that night, I'm going home to have this interview about Tamara Schamberger. So I want to say like 6 o'clock, 6:30. So I get on with Bianca, and at the time, Bianca was doing like shenanigans on the internet because she was trying to tell people about all the stuff that was happening in education, but nobody was listening unless she was acting a fool on the internet. So she got this wig on. She's got on this leopard fur coat. Like, it's a whole production. But also, y'all need to listen to what the hell's going on. So I show up to the interview with my 22 pages of screenshots, and Bianca gives me the platform to tell my story, the story I just finished telling y'all, and along with what was said in those screenshots. So Bianca was like, "Girl, this is wow, like, oh my God, whatever." So we finished the interview. People on the interview, they like, "What? Like, this is crazy." And also people was like, "Well, I saw it. I saw it when it was happening. Like, it was a lot that was going on." So we get off or whatever, we chit chat a little bit, make sure we stay in touch, keep up posted, blah, blah, blah. That Saturday, it was an event in Tampa called, what that thing was called, Tea and Conversations, I think. But I'm not going to even give my opinion on that. It was an event. And Bianca was at the event, and Tamara Schamberger was at the event. So Bianca calls me after the event, and she's like, "Girl, Tamara Schamberger went off on me at this event talking about I was slandering her." Now, this is what I love about Bianca. Bianca's slogan is "People lie, receipts don't." Okay? She has three keys that she abides by: transparency, accountability, and integrity. Like, when I tell you that's somebody I could get behind, because I am the exact, like, where the receipts? Huh? Where is the receipts at? Okay. So when she heard about me and these 22 pages of screenshots, she was already like, "That's my type of bitch," right? So she tells me what happens on Saturday. We talk about it. I'm like, "Wow, that's crazy." Sunday happens. Now it's the Monday before Thanksgiving. So we weren't at Phelan having to go into schools. The schools are closed. They off for the whole week of Thanksgiving. But this is a great time for you to get your Google Drive set up and get up on Monday.com and like all this other stuff, right? So I wake up that day. I was like, let me set up my printer so I could be good and ready to go in case I need to print something. Make sure I got my little office set up, right? I get a phone call somewhere around 10 o'clock. And I was expecting a phone call because I was supposed to be setting up my medical insurance. So it was somebody from HR, and she was like, "Hey, this is so and so from HR. I also have such and such on the phone." And I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she was like, "We want to let you know that you have a clause in your contract that states that we can release you with or without notice or with or without cause. And we're going to exercise that clause today. So today will be your last day." And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" What? We want to let you know that you have a clause in your contract that states we can release you with or without notice or with or without cause. We're going to exercise that clause today. Today will be your last day. So I was like, now I just told you last time I talked to them on Friday before this interview, they were singing my praises. The Florida team is complete. Oh my gosh, we can't wait until, you all get to work. Kimberly was so excited to have you, like all of that, right? Saturday happened. Friday night happened, interview. Saturday happened, confrontation. Sunday, now it's Monday, and now they calling me, telling me it's the cause of my contract, and they're gonna release me. So I was like, "I'm sorry. Are you saying that there is a reason that you're releasing me, and you're just choosing not to say it, or there isn't a reason?" I'm sorry. I've never been through this before, so I'm not understanding. We wanted to let you know there's a clause in your contract that states we can release you with or without notice or with or without cause. We're going to do that. We're going to exercise that clause today. Today will be your last day. You receive your last paycheck on Friday. We wish you the best in the future. Click. So I'm sitting there like, I just, I just got fired. I just wait. What? So I called Bianca and I'm like, I just got fired. So Bianca's like, what? And I'm like, I just got fired. So Bianca's partner at the time was an attorney. So she calls her and her partner calls me and confirms, like, yeah, this is definitely probably retaliation. This is probably linked to that interview. Long story short, I'm not going to extrapolate too much, but I am going to say some things that are public and for the record. When Phelan Leadership Academies, which is black owned, by the way, when they got the contract for Hillsborough County Public Schools, the seventh largest school district in the nation, now maybe the eighth largest at the time, Tamara Schamberger was the chair of the school board. Also, I will say that there are some numbers that I was privy to that show this gigantic discount for services that Hillsborough County Public Schools received. Um, to receive the services that Phelan Leadership Academy did. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. So through that situation, after that I wound up on radio shows and all other kind of stuff, which like through that year 2019 2020 was wild. So I lost my job that Monday before Thanksgiving. December 12th, a few weeks later, my dog died. um I was a mess. I don't think I went outside again until New Year's Eve, which is when I left my house to pick up a check. And it was bad. Like, life was very bad then. But Bianca has been a part of my life since then. And over that time, we developed a friendship. And I think one of the things Bianca used to say to me all the time, because, I'm real protective of my energy and I don't talk to just anybody. So I was telling her about somebody that um, had placed himself in position to be aligned with this news story that was taken off, right, with me and all of that. And I was telling her about this person, and I was like, he just don't sit right in my spirit. I was like, something, he just don't sit right in my spirit. And Bianca was like, nobody ever sits right in your spirit. And I was like, that's a lie, because I talk to you. Okay. But he don't sit right in my spirit. And I was right. So I think after so many of those instances, Bianca was like, this bitch know what she talking about. I might want to keep her around. But she is the best friend that I have right now. And I am supremely grateful for that friendship. I'm supremely grateful for um, our ability to hold each other accountable without taking it as an attack, and our ability to be able to be completely vulnerable with each other. I have never really had a friendship like that. I have always had friendships that I had to hold back pieces because the people that I was friends with were so judgmental and it was just a lot. So I just always had to hold back. And this is the first time in my adult life that I have somebody that I call a best friend who calls me a best friend and a sister and also allows me to be the full of me and is able to hear my silence and is connected to God and able to give me a word just like I can give her one. Like it really, God knew what He was doing when He connected us, and it only would have took an extreme circumstance like this to connect us because I was very skeptical of people and things at the time, specifically surrounding that incident. Since then, we have real life been like, when you say like that's been my friend through the ups and downs, we have real life had those moments in our lives and been able to support each other through all of that. And it has been a beautiful thing to have. So that is how I met my best friend. And I talked to her yesterday, and it was a balm to my soul because um, she was like, "We got this. We got this. I got you, and it's gonna be all right." And I was grateful for that, and I needed to hear that. So that was story time for today. Um, yeah. So leave me some comments. I don't know if y'all have questions. I don't know if this story is new to you or not. A lot of people found me during the Pennsylvania situation, but this was actually the catalyst that caused me to leave Florida. As you know, 2020, COVID happened, and I came to Medellin, and no, that was in 2021. But COVID happened. I moved to Pennsylvania. I started working for the Department of Education. Then I came to Medellin, and then I left. So this is one of the things that got me to Pennsylvania just before COVID. So that was today's story time. Thank you for listening. Again, leave me some comments. Make sure that you're connected to me, Minding My Black Ass Business, on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Patreon. Um, I appreciate y'all. I really do. All right. Bye for now.